That's right, our beloved Beetle has lied to us. As we can clearly see in the film, Herbie's taking part in a sports car event at the Monterey Grand Prix, which when we check Wikipedia, we can clearly see that the 1968 Monterey Grand Prix was in fact a Can-Am series race and did not feature production cars. So without further ado, here are some Can-Am cars, and away we go! This is going to be quite the spectacle, because once again, Herbie's had a little upgrade, because Can-Am cars are nothing to mess around with. These are absolute monsters. And as you can see, we are holding our own. We're not as fast as them, but because we are merely a Volkswagen Beetle, we certainly have the weight advantage. And to help out, Herbie's got some stickier tyres. So we look back at what engines Herbie had as we all pile up into the corkscrew for the first lap. Originally, Herbie had a 365 1.5 litre Boxster 4 engine producing about 90 horsepower on a good day. That was the engine they used during filming for the race sequences. We found out that wasn't quite enough for the SCCA races we took part in, the first 3 races of this series. So he was upgraded to a 916 2.4 ST engine, flat 6, producing 250 horsepower, which is pretty generous for putting in the back of a Beetle. So I thought, how can we compete with Can-Am cars? Well, Porsche did produce a 917 Spider Can-Am car, but that was producing over 1,000 horsepower, which definitely would be way too much. Trust me, I've tried. It's way too much. So we've gone for the 916K Porsche engine, a 4.5 litre flat 12, producing 600 horsepower. And like I said, Herbie's now got some stickier tyres, because again, there was no way in chance I would even complete the 10 laps I've set myself. This is a much shorter race, but it's the short wheelbase, the skinny tyres, the as we accidentally go into the back of the Lola there. As you can see, we can see over the top of the Lola in our driving position. It's not the most balanced car, to say the least. Yeah, as we get alongside the Lola, say some of these Can-Am cars were absolute monsters. I mean, most of them back then were McLarens. You've got the Elva, and then you had the M8D, which was Chevy powered, and you had some that were Ford powered. Just quickly looking at my list of McLarens, yeah, you've got the Elva Mark IIB, you've got the M8A, you've got the Elva Mark III Ford, M6B, but certainly then you had lots of Lolas as well. You got the T70, T16, which were very fast. And there is a bit of a surprise in this, because I've managed to modify one of the Lolas because it looks incredibly like the Ferrari 612P, which was Ferrari's attempt at Can-Am, if you believe it or not. Ferrari did enter Can-Am for, I think it was only a couple of years, not many, maybe 1 or 2. But the car looks identical, so I've given it gold wheels and a red paint job, and it looks very similar. I'm not sure what the story is behind that Ferrari, whether it was based on the Lola or not. Something I need to look in, and something I'd quite like to look at. Like I said before, most of these races of racing in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s of the SCCA, or indeed Can-Am. These are all series I'd like to delve into, and of course I've got the car in front of us is the Chaparral. Now I don't think it's the 2G that raced. I can't remember what version of it, but obviously we all know and love it from Gran Turismo. Obviously, I remember seeing that car for the first time. It's just, I assumed it was a one-off, like it was like a prototype, but little did I know it's how they raced in America back in the 60s. It's just such incredible design and not bending the rules, but reading between the lines and. Well, really, it was sort of, there weren't really many rules, were there, for Can-Am? It was sort of an unrestricted racing series that shows such initiative from teams and innovation. It was, I say, some of the wings moved to help with air around corners and braking, and some of them had cooling up in the wings up above, and all sorts of crazy stuff that we're only really just starting to see come back again now, you know, like DRS and yeah, when designers could be let loose and create absolute legendary designs. But we have passed most of the field now. It is only a short race, I do need to get going. I believe I'm in 5th place, and these cars were matching my lap times within a couple of tenths, so I do need to push, and these new tyres are definitely helping, because I tried doing it on the original tyres and I would not last 2 laps. And also what I haven't done is the brakes. I've noticed the brakes do fade quite a lot, because obviously they are just the original VW brakes, so they do get very hot trying to stop the 600 horsepower engine as we're going quite hot. Yep, just a little nudge, but like I said, definitely brake fade. so hopefully I can catch them before they go completely, and perhaps there might be some traffic, because to say it was I don't think they were classes from what I could see in my research, but they were definitely, the newer models had more aero on them, as we can see up ahead. The cars at the front certainly had more wings, whereas the other McLarens that we all went past definitely less aero dependent and just more relied on grunt. They were, you know, almost like a slightly lower class compared to the newer cars, as I think we are coming up to some traffic already. I've only got a couple of laps left, so I do need to make some moves. There's a fellow powered Porsche, I suppose, the 908. Oh, sorry, 906 even. But yeah, I really did try to put 1,000 horsepower in the back of Herbie, but I mean, we're pretty quick with 600 compared to these cars that are probably producing that, if not more. But because we're just so much lighter, even without the aero, the sticky tyres also are a massive benefit. It's just the brakes that we struggle on, and top speed as well. So it is a fairly equal match, and again, this modded version of Laguna Seca from the 60s is absolutely beautiful. It really captures what it was like back then. You know, even looking at the start of the video with the clips from the Love Bug, it's, you know, all the crowds on the banks, and it's all just, you know, there's no barriers, it's all grassy banks of the California mountains. It is California, isn't it? Yeah, and so it's corkscrew. It's just, you know, there's just trees around. I absolutely love it. Proper. Oh, as we get side by side with. I think these are supposed to be McLaren M8As. However, the only McLarens I could find. I think there's something very similar. Is it M8D? I think there's like a letter difference, and I think they do look fairly similar. Yeah, a lot of these cars they look very much like what was racing. And I'll say the Ferrari didn't actually turn up, I don't think, but I don't think we're going to get a chance to actually see it, because so far out front we really used all the remaining brakes I had there going into the corkscrew just to try and catch up with this Ferrari that you can see just there overtaking that slower car. And as we approach this last corner of this last lap in the last race of this series to find out how fast actually is Herbie. I mean, we've come a long way. We've stuck a 917 engine in the back of him and come second against some Can-Am cars, so I think that's pretty good. Otherwise, perhaps his original 356 Super 90 engine was probably helped a bit by some movie magic. But otherwise, I've had a lot of fun during the series. I hope you've enjoyed watching. My next 4-part mini-series will come out next week, and as it's December and quite festive, it will be involving motorsport and snow. So I hope to see you then. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.